Opening day in L.A. was all about the pitching. His former Cy Young Award winner Clayton Kershaw continued his mastery of the Giants by hitting a home run and pitching a shutout. Tonight, the Giants look to even the series by sending their talented young lefty Madison Bumgarner to the mound. It's Mad Bum and the Giants against the Dodgers. Game 2 of the series next. We've got another night in Southern California. It is game 2 of this 3-game series, and it is the rivalry. The Giants taking on the Dodgers. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is Mike Krukow. Well, it was the Clayton Kershaw show yesterday, and tonight the Giants are hoping that it's the Madison Bumgarner show. And, Mike, we've watched this 23-year-old now just grow up into being a terrific big league pitcher. What's he got to do tonight?
Well, he just has to be himself, and when he's himself, he can repeat the stroke with his arm. If you think back to the last 5 weeks of the season, he struggled with his mechanics. His mechanics throughout spring training were very, very good. So he comes in tonight's start with a lot of confidence. 5-2 lifetime against the Dodgers, and his opponent is a guy who's making his debut in the major leagues who never played a day in the minor leagues. Hyunjin Ryu, and he has a big target on his back. So game on with the two lefties.
Joaquin Arias is at first base. And he's not that familiar with the spot, but he's a good infielder. Stay tuned. We'll take you to our Comcast Sportsnet studios in beautiful San Francisco for an update. And we'll do that right after this.
brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new Hot Mess Burger today. It's loaded with spicy jalapenos, onion rings, and gooey pepper jack cheese. And by Toyota. Do the math and save at your local Toyota dealer.
Back at Dodger Stadium on a beautiful night for baseball. Fans still filing into the ballpark as we get ready for Game 2 of this series. Our game time weather is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Temperature is 63 degrees. The humidity at 69%. And we have light winds, and the forecast is for this night to be a clear night. So the umpires are out. The lineup cards have been exchanged. And on that Giants lineup, written out by Bruce Bochy, it looks like this. It'll be Pagan, Scudero, and Sandoval. Nothing changed from last night, like Posey and Pence. The change is Joaquin Arias gets a start in place of Brandon Belt, who really is suffering right now with either the stomach flu or food poisoning. But he is not doing well. So it'll be Torres in the 7th slot, then Crawford, followed by Giants left-hander Madison Bumgarner.
On the hill tonight, making his major league debut is Hyunjin Ryu, the left-hander, 6'2", 255-pounder. He's 26 years old. Never has played a day in the minor leagues here in the States. He's come right from the Korean baseball organization, where he was a 7-time All-Star in 7 years. As I mentioned, he's 25 years old, so he started young there. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. His fastball go 88, 91-ish, depending on the grip, curveball, slider, and an outstanding changeup. The number of innings pitched, 182 last year with 210 strikeouts against 46 walks. So, I mean, you're talking 5-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. He does have a good feel of what he throws. His last 2 outings in spring training, he dealt through 11 shutout innings, and the last 4 innings were against the Angels in the Freeway Series here in Los Angeles. He retired 12 in a row. So he's very confident right now, throwing well. But, of course, this is a whole different ballgame. He'll be facing the defending world champions. Let's take a look at the defense the Dodgers will employ tonight behind Ryu. Starting in their outfield from left to right, it'll be Hairston, Kemp, and Ethier. Sellers and Cruz on the left side of the infield. Ellis and Gonzalez on the right side. A.J. Ellis will be in the squad, putting down the signs. And that is your Dodger defense.
It was the left-hander Clayton Kershaw yesterday that made all the headlines. And number 99, Ryu, is going to try to do the same here as the first night game of the season. This is also Game 2 of 19 games between these two teams. There's Kershaw. You saw Matt Cain, who pitched extremely well. So here we go. We've got baseball on a Tuesday night. It'll be Pagan to lead things off. And the first pitch of the ball game is down low. So we get underway at 7:12. Pagan last night went 2 for 4, and he nubs this one into center field, and he's going to lead off the game with a base hit. So that's how this game gets started, with a little flare to left, and that'll bring up Marco Scudero. So Pagan now 3 hits already on this young season. Scudero yesterday went 0 for 4. Had a strikeout. He got caught looking against Kershaw. Pagan last year with 29 steals. He was thrown out 7 times. Scooter runs up to bunt, and he takes a call strike.
Paul Immel, the plate umpire tonight, pretty good umpire, very consistent. He doesn't give a lot of width on both sides of the plate, but he will give knee highs and he will give some belts, so you'll see low and high strikes. It's a pretty tight zone, but it's a good one.
Breaking ball is high. Not at any point in the game yesterday did the Giants get their leadoff hitter on. And tonight, Pagan leads the game off with a base hit. Sandoval on deck as Scudero now asks for time. Giants last year won 94 games. The Dodgers won 86. Giants finished 8 games in front of LA in the West. And the Giants really had to catch the Dodgers right after the All-Star break. Scudero with a good bunt. Charging is Cruz. Cruz cannot make the play. Everybody's safe.
Oh, that was textbook right there on a drag. Not a sacrifice at all. He was bunting for a pure base hit. And what do you say we make it our forward right choice? One thing about Marco Scudero, he's opportunistic. He'll look at that infield, and if he thinks he's got any kind of an opening with a third baseman playing a couple steps deep, I mean, he'll go for it. He's that confident. You can see just about 1.5 steps behind the bag is where Cruz set up, and that's all Scudero needed to see. So, hey, our forward right choice and the table setters have done their job.
And the first hit of the year for Scudero. And here's Sandoval, who had a couple of hits. In the ball game yesterday. So Sandoval at the plate, and he takes wide, 1 ball and no strikes. That's a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from Ryu. Buster Posey to follow.
You can't classify Ryu a power arm. He's a finesse guy. He has to hit his spots and get all 4 pitches over to beat you.
Out of play. Bochy in good spirits before the ball game. 1-1 to Sandoval. Sandoval into center field. Kemp will track it down.
Well, that's exactly what Ryu wants to do to hitters. Get him out front, get him reaching. Sort of an off-balance swing from Sandoval from the right side. Hit it off the end of the bat. You're going to see a lot of off-speed stuff from this lefty. And Sandoval getting completely off the back foot, reaching. Once you get a hitter to do that, you've done your job as a pitcher. You've upset his timing.
Buster Posey took an 0 for 3 in the game yesterday. He did hit the ball well. He lined out to Cruz off of Clayton Kershaw. And now Ryu will step off. Pagan jockeying back and forth off of second base. Just underway here at Dodger Stadium. The table setters have done their job as Posey takes wide.
It's a perfect night for baseball. No wind whatsoever. There was wind during batting practice, but it really has calmed down once the game got started. The infield, medium speed. Same for the outfield gaps.
Ryu wants that pitch, and he's not getting it.
And one thing he's going to learn in this league, you do not stare down an umpire, not when you're a rookie. They don't care where you came from or what credentials you bring. You do not show up an umpire. And once that umpire puts his hands on the hips, that's a warning. And Paul Emmel is letting Ryu know that he's not appreciating the stare down.
And a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Emmel's zone is tight. You're not going to see big corners on his strike zone. But what you see in the first, you normally will see in the ninth.
Ellis keeping Pagan close at second. Cap to third. They'll go around the horn. That's 1. That's 2. As Ryu gets the double play ball to end the inning. Bumgarner coming out. Is 0-0, and now it's time for the Dodgers lineup. Jerry Hairston's going to lead things off. No Carl Crawford today, followed by Ellis Kemp and Adrian Gonzalez. Luis Cruz will follow Gonzalez, then it's Ethier, Ellis, the youngster Justin Sellers. He'll be at short hitting eighth, and Ryu will pitch in bat ninth.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be Madison Bumgarner, the 23-year-old, making his first start of the 2013 season. And this is what he did in 32 starts last year. All he did was go 16-11, the 3.37 ERA, and threw 208 innings. And when you can throw 200 innings, that makes you a cornerstone of a rotation. He has been fantastic in his young career. 36-30 lifetime with a 3.20 lifetime ERA. Against the Dodgers, he's had great success. 5-2 with a 2.98 ERA. When he's right, you're going to see a fastball that's got lots of cut. It'll go 88-93. He will 2-4 seam that grip. He's got a good hard slider, which I think is his bread and butter breaking ball. He's also got a curveball. He has a changeup that he's still in the process of learning. It is a project pitch, and a lot of people believe that that is really the key for him to go to the next level. But he's at a pretty good level right now. Had a nice spring, throwing with good confidence right now.
Here's Jerry Hairston Jr. to lead things off. And first pitch strike to Hairston. Last year in a Dodger uniform, hit 273. Good solid player, plays a lot of different positions. Had 4 home runs, 26 driven in. And lifetime against Bumgarner as he fouls this one out of play. He's 3 for 7. Bumgarner is indeed, as Mike has mentioned many times, a strike thrower.
And just 2 pitches into the game, you get an idea of his use of the 2 grips. First one, 89 miles an hour, 2-seamer. Then he 4-seams the ball at 93. And Hairston, a good fastball hitter late.
High with a fastball. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Giants set up defensively straight away for Hairston. A bit off the line at first is Joaquin Arias. Arias will be taking his cues on where to play from the guy to his right and then a number of coaches to his left. It's slowly to Scudero, and Marco Scudero throws out Hairston.
Let's take a look at the defense playing behind Madison Bumgarner tonight for the Giants. They'll set it up in the outfield from left to right. Torres, Pagan, Pence, Crawford and Sandoval on the left side. Scudero joined by Arias on the right side, and Buster Posey, but he'll be in the squad putting down the signs. That's your Giants defense. And Joaquin Arias accepted the responsibility of first base about halfway into spring training, and after a couple days, looked like he played there a lot.
Yeah. Here's Ellis. Ellis takes a strike. 2 for 3 yesterday for Mark Ellis.
It's kind of the same way Arias took the assignment of playing third base. First time he ever played it was in the big leagues, and he looked great.
I played first base 4 or 5 times. And the one thing that you have to constantly remind yourself is when the ball is not hit to you, is you have to go to the bag. Because usually at another position, you're a spectator. And you think that, well, yeah, well, that automatically you're going to do that. No, you have to just remind yourself.
Yeah, when you don't play it every day, you're right. You've got to think to do it.
That, and I wanted to look good stretching.
How was your stretch?
And just about the time you worried about your stretch, you got a good chance of missing the ball. Scudero to his left.
2 outs, 2 ground balls, and when Bumgarner's right, you're going to see a lot of ground balls.
Here's Kemp. And the other thing about first base, Mike, is if you don't play there a lot, you don't have a first baseman's mitt. You borrow somebody. And that's a bit odd, using somebody else's glove.
It could be a coach's. You got to cover up the number because it's not his number.
And if you find one that's comfortable, you're going to use it. It may be some guy who brought one to the park on the glove drive. Kemp with a swing and a miss.
Did you have fun when you went over and played for?
No, it was. I thought it was going to be fun, and then it was a bit nerve-wracking, just because you're out of place.
And you had to think before you.
You just. It was odd. And then you worry about cutoffs, and do you cut the ball off or not, or do you let it go through?
Wow, the footwork on a bunt play. Every position at the big league level, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get exposed, and you're going to get exposed quickly. This is what he's done in his career. He's played all 4 in the infield.
Crawford gets a tricky hop, a double clutch and a throw, and Arias not a problem. Like JT Snow over there. Nothing. that they found laying around for opening day, and you can still be there to see who will raise the championship flag. Yeah, you know.
Where'd they find them?
You don't know. Ceremonies will begin at 12:30. Cardinals and Giants at 1:35. Go to sfgiants.com. Well, they found a stack in Maria Jacinto's desk.
Oh, she was rat holing them.
And then Russ Stanley had some underneath his chair.
So members of the Giants front office, they were stashing them, and then they got caught, so they had to give them up.
Yep. So anyway, just go to sfgiants.com and check out the entire weekend. The Cardinals will be in town. The ring ceremony on Sunday. 1 ball and 1 strike to Hunter Pence.
You said one of the keys this first time through the lineup for the Giants was to take a lot of pitches, and that's what they're doing.
Well, every fastball that Ryu has thrown has been right at 90. Not 89, not 91.
90 is about the average speed of a major league fastball.
Pence with a shot off the glove of Sellers. Even off the glove of Sellers, it makes it very quickly out to Hairston in left field. And Pence comes up with his first hit of the season.
Now, the kind of spring that he had, every game he was laying out ropes all over the field from foul line to foul line. No surprise he tees off on one here, even against a guy he doesn't know much about.
Here's Arias, who hit 270 last year, 5 big flies. Had a big home run in this park in one of the games that he started. Here he takes a strike. His numbers against the Dodgers, lifetime, very good. Pence will be checked on by Ryu. Andres Torres is on deck. Base hit, left field. So back-to-back innings, the Giants have gotten the first 2 hitters aboard.
Well, Arias definitely made a friend out of Brandon Crawford. The last out when Matt Kemp, who runs well, doesn't give you a lot of time to regroup as an infielder. Crawford hurried the throw, and that was not an easy dig out of the dirt for Arias. He fielded cleanly, and as my partner said, very JT Snow-like. JT Snow, Will Clark spending a lot of time with Arias in Scottsdale during spring training at first base.
Here's Torres. Torres, big chopper. That's a fair ball. Cruz gets one there, and that's it. So it'll be a double play and a nice play by Cruz.
Playing in respect of what could be a bunt with nobody out, runners at first and second. The ball goes right to the bag, and then the footwork of Cruz, who had visions of a triple play. Not much chance with the foot speed of Torres, but still, very nice play. And now the Giants hitting in a little bit of tough luck with ducks on the pond.
So here's Crawford. Crawford 248 last year, 4 home runs, 45 driven in. Crawford took an 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts against Kershaw. Torres with terrific speed at first. Had 13 steals last year. As Crawford swings and misses, nothing in 2. Torres with the Mets last year was banged up, so he did not run a lot. But his history in a Giants uniform is that he can steal the bag when he wants to. And Crawford is out to end the inning. Bottom of the second coming up. Adrian Gonzalez will lead things off.
This date in Giants history, we go back to this date, 2002. That's when the Giants beat the Dodgers right here in Los Angeles on opening day, 9-2. And on that day, Barry Bonds went 3 for 5 with 2 big flies, 5 ribeyes. And Livan Hernandez went 8 strong innings and defeated Kevin Brown.
It was a good day for Mr. Bonds, and if I remember right, one of those was a tape measure that just went around the right field foul pole way back into the second deck. Yeah, these guys remember that. So here's Adrian Gonzalez to lead things off. Gonzalez fouls the first pitch back and out of play.
That was a belt high challenge. One thing about being a strike thrower, being a guy who's got a reputation of being a strike thrower, hitters are pretty comfortable. They know that they're going to see balls around the strike zone.
The 0-1 delivery is driven to right. Pence on the move. Pence will make the running catch.
But he had a great jump. I'll tell you, that ball had a sound coming off the bat. Pitch just took a great route direct to the wall on a high backhander. The body slammed into the pads. Nice play. Watched it right all the way into the glove.
Here's Cruz.
That's one guy not afraid to take on a wall. He's built to take on walls.
Cruz takes a strike. 0 for 3 for Cruz last night. Does have a couple of hits and 3 lifetime at bats against Madison Bumgarner. Down low. On deck is Andre Ethier. No score here in the bottom of the second. Scudero back. It's going to be his ball, and he'll put it away. 2 down.
Yeah, last time he was catching pop-ups, it was raining.
One of the more fun evenings we've ever been a part of. So here's Ethier. Ethier picked up a hit last night. Also struck out a couple of times. Two outs, nobody on. Ethier 1 for 13 against Bumgarner, and he's tardy on that fastball, and it snowballs in a strike.
Talk about the mechanical problems that Bumgarner had last year, and really showed up in his velocity. There are times he'd throw 87, 89, never even break 90 in games. Well, when he's right mechanically, his velocity is up around 92, 94, and that's where it has been tonight. In the offseason, he did not throw off a mound one time. He did his throwing, but it was all flat ground throwing. He did not want to get on a mound until he got around Dave Rigetti. And that's how much faith he has in his pitching coach. And because of it, he really got into a nice set of mechanics early on in spring, and he's maintained them ever since.
One and two to Ethier. Posey setting up away, and it's low and away, 2-2.
Thing about Bumgarner with the low three-quarter release, he's naturally going to get a little bit of cut away from a lefty, and that really is a pitch that is his bread and butter. I mean, it's this movement that has a nice little flat slide away from the lefty into a righty.
And that's off of Posey. It remains 2-2.
When he throws his slider, there's some unpredictability to it. Sometimes it runs flat, the break on it is flat. Sometimes it's got tilt to it. Sometimes it backs up, doesn't do anything. But he's not an easy guy to hit because of that. Not predictable is a good thing for a pitcher.
Down the right field line, this will be extra bases for Ethier. And Ethier with a 2-out double and the first base runner and the first hit for the Dodgers tonight. Darvish has a perfect game through 8 innings against the Houston Astros in Houston.
14 strikeouts, and he still has some gas left in his gas tank, having thrown 107 pitches. That game being played in Houston.
Here's Ellis with 2 outs and Ethier at second base, and Ellis takes a strike. Ellis 0 for 4 last night, and he's 0 for 3 lifetime against Bumgarner.
Ellis really was a nice surprise for the Dodgers last year. He had a very solid season behind the plate and with the bat. Just missed. That's one, if you're Buster Posey, you have to ask Paul Emily, plate umpire, was it outside or was it low?
Here's the 1-1 is a call strike, 1 and 2. Ellis takes a walk. Comes inside and misses. It's 2 and 2. Five and 2 lifetime for Bumgarner against these Dodgers. And only one guy really has ownage on him, and that's Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, 3 for 4.
Got him, side retired, first strikeout. for Bumgarner, 91 under Ellis's hands. Bumgarner will lead things off, no score.
Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
No score here in Los Angeles as we head to inning number 3. Bumgarner, Pagan, and Scudero. Giants in the first inning had their first 2 hitters aboard. Same in the second. One ball and 1 strike on the big swing and a miss by Bumgarner.
Three pitches, 3 fastballs, 3 fastballs away.
Three and 1.
Now, this is where Bumgarner likes to be.
He's going to cheat on this one.
And he will unload a swing. Angel Pagan chalking up on deck.
That was right where he wanted it.
He had to take a little walk there. I think he's a little bit upset with himself.
I'm wondering if he had the take sign. Stays alive.
One thing about Ryu, I mean, he's challenging Bumgarner. I mean, I know that Dodgers told him that Bumgarner can hit, but he's not showing Bumgarner a lot of respect. It's just one fastball after another. After another. See that cannon on his head saying, just keep throwing those fastballs and he'll hurt you.
Got him.
Just all fastballs, and Bumgarner can't believe he missed that one. Well, the Giants take on the Cardinals this weekend, and Saturday, April 6th at 1:05 will be Buster Posey National League MVP Day. And the first 40,000 fans are going to get a Buster Posey bobblehead. Then Sunday, April 7th, It's 1:35 game, and get to the ballpark early for the 2012 World Series ring ceremony. It starts at 12:45. The first 40,000 fans will receive a replica World Series ring courtesy of AAA. A limited number of tickets are still available for both Cardinal games. Go to sfgiants.com/tickets.
Here's Pagan as he takes a call strike. Pagan opened up the game with a base hit. Lines this one down the left field line. See if he challenges Hairston, and he will. And it's going to be close, and not even close. 2 down.
You put the pressure on the defense and make them make a play. And Hairston has always had a very accurate arm. Right off the crack of the bat, I'm thinking he's thinking double. Good footwork, and there's the accuracy. A one-hop seed right to Mark Ellis. Hanging breaking ball. Just a little hesitation right here, and it's like, I'm gone. Well, nice defense by the Dodgers so far. And despite 5 hits and 2 2/3, Giants have nothing to show for it.
Scudero singled, a bunt single in the first.
Well, for young left fielders, this is as good a footwork as you're going to get. Very compact, fielded on the backhand towards his back foot. He's in a great position to throw, and there's the one hopper. Very easy play for Ellis to gather in and put the tag on. Plenty of time. Fundamentals. Still looking for their first run of the year.
Scudero slowly hit. Sellers charges and throws, and that'll end the inning. Sellers, Ryu, Hairston coming up. 0-0. Well, let's check out our Geico quote. It's Buster Posey on Clayton Kershaw. Buster says he's similar to the guys on our staff who give them everything he's got each time out. So high compliment for Buster Posey on the Giants staff and on that gentleman right there, Clayton Kershaw.
Well, he was as good as you can be yesterday. Not only with his arm, but with his bat. First big league home run.
Here's Sellers, Justin Sellers, followed by Ryu, and then Jerry Hairston. 0-0 here in the third inning. And a first pitch strike. Sandoval and Arias charging. Also Scudero moving over towards the line. Swing and a miss. Sellers in limited action last year with the Dodgers hit just over 200 with a home run and a couple of RBIs. He took an 0 for 4 in the game yesterday.
Tried to backdoor him with a little cut fastball, and I mean, he didn't miss by a whole bunch. Nice paralysis effort there.
Too close that time.
Yeah, yesterday, Clayton Kershaw, as we mentioned, it was his day. He did it with his arm. Went 9 strong with 7 strikeouts. Just really was masterful from the first pitch to the very last pitch.
Here's Ryu. We'll find out what a hitter Ryu is like.
First big league at bat. And we really don't know if they have a DH in the Korean baseball organization.
Or curveballs.
But I don't believe that he's had a lot of experience with the bat, at least professionally. That's a pretty good hat. And that's all you need to see is one of those to realize that this guy's a threat.
Yeah, all right. Stop messing around, right?
That's not the first time he's had a bat in his hand. And that's a little lazy with the location. And no 2-count up there over the plate at the belt. Total curveball.
Arias.
Hung in there pretty good.
Got the crowd into it a little bit.
Bumgarner the first time through the lineup in 9 batters. The first 9 guys he's faced, he's had 6 0-2 counts. That's a pretty good recipe right there for success.
So here's Jerry Hairston, who bounced out to Marco Scudero. In the first inning. So they're telling us that Darvish lost his perfect game and no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
Wow. That's a pitch you'll think about the rest of his life.
There's the ball hit right between his legs. Hit sharply. One ball and 1 strike to Hairston. Buster Posey will watch this one sail out of play. It's 1-2.
Marwin Gonzalez was the guy that got the base hit for the Astros that ruined the perfect game. Wow, you go 2 outs in the 9th, and it was a ground ball right back up the middle through the legs of Darvish.
It was the year of the perfect game last year.
It's true.
2-2 to Hairston. Very dominating effort with 14 strikeouts. Bumgarner trying to dispose of Jerry Hairston with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Crawford from short. Side retired. For the Giants, Sandoval, Posey, Pence, the big fellas, the beef. They're coming up. 0-0.
On Comcast Sportsnet, Bay Area.
No score here in the 4th inning. Hyun-Jin Ryu is a bit in trouble, but the Giants have not been able to put anything across the board as Sandoval lines this one right at Sellers, 1 out. And here's Buster Posey.
No, you're right. I mean, so far, Ryu's been doing it with mirrors. He hasn't been fooling them. Hit into a couple of double plays. They had a base hit where Angel Pagan tried to get greedy, sort of ran himself into an out with a nice play by Hairston. 2 him out at second base. Here, an atom ball by Sandoval. Giants feel a little snake bit. They can't get on the board.
Bumgarner throwing the ball well. Here's the 1-0 to Posey. Pull the string on him. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's a good changeup right there. You might see him start to throw that pitch a bit more as he gets to the second time through the lineup.
And a base hit for Posey right back up the middle. All right, let's check in with Greg Papa in our Comcast Sportsnet studio. Greg? All right, thanks, Greg. Here's Pence. Pence takes a strike. He singled in the 2nd.
It's going up that bat just a little bit, about a 2-inch choke.
Pence, love his pant legs. Love them. You know why? No maintenance.
Yeah.
He's no maintenance Pence.
Strap it on and go. I mean, you watch him, and you just feel like he's just ready to bust out of his shoes.
Yep.
He's got a funny way of doing things, but boy, he can get them done.
Line drive, base hit. Buster Posey is going to move over to third. So Pence has a couple of hits. And Joaquin Arias is coming up.
He's not getting fooled. Big floating breaking ball right out over the plate at the belt. That's one that should get hit. And you don't want to make a mistake to those when you're facing a hot hitter. Buster Posey with a ball right in front of him, an easy take at third.
Arias with a base hit in the second inning. Up the middle, and a base hit, and the Giants are on the board. The first RBI of the season for the Giants goes to Joaquin Arias, and it's 1-0 San Francisco.
You get a little education your first at bat against a guy you've never seen before. I mean, you can watch all the video you want. You can talk to all the scouts, all the players who've seen him and hit against him. It doesn't matter till you get in that batter's box. And once you do, you get a book, you get a plan. And it looks like the Giants are going right back up the middle. All 3 base hits in this inning have gone back up the middle. And Arias finally puts a ding in the scoreboard for the Giants in 2013.
Here's Torres. Up to Torres now, not to be so anxious. And it is tough for Andres Torres. Swung at the first pitch in the second inning and bounced into a double play. Ryu gets the call.
Nice little change up of the 1-0 count.
Crawford on deck. Giants with 3 straight singles here in the fourth. Fouled 1 and 2.
Like a little cutter or a flat slider. Still another pitch that's up. And you cannot make a habit of throwing your specialty pitches at the belt. Curveballs, sliders, changeups, those are pitches that you want to locate down in the strike zone. You're throwing them up there at the belt. That's a mistake.
Got him.
Torres going out of the strike zone to chase that little fastball. And that's a big strikeout for Ryu.
Crawford struck out in the second inning. He had such a terrific spring. And his at-bats against left-handers were exceptionally good.
It really feeds his strength, which is middle away.
Rolled to Ellis. And that'll end the inning. Giants with 3 straight singles. They're on the board as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's 1-0 Giants. Once again, here's the popular director's cut of Hunter Pence's motivational speech, exclusive to Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, courtesy of SFG Productions.
presented by authority of the San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LP.
Here at Dodger Stadium, the Giants with a 1-0 lead.
Oh yeah, the Panda people are here. I cannot wait for Friday. Giants one more game here in this 3-game set with the Dodgers tomorrow, an off day Thursday. Then it's back home for the Cardinals on Friday.
Cardinals again? Didn't the Giants just play the Cardinals, for crying out loud?
Seems like it.
Here's Ellis, Kemp, and Gonzalez. Every game it seemed like the Giants played against the Cardinals was an elimination game. That wasn't the case, it just seemed like that. Ellis drives this one out into right center field, but Pence is there. And Mr. No Maintenance makes the catch.
Yes, no nonsense, low maintenance. It's fun to watch Hunter Pence when he gets to the ballpark because he never stops moving. I don't think I've ever seen him sit down. A lot of work before batting practice. Then he does his drills, gets in the cage, takes his fly balls, comes back in, changes his uni, gets ready for the game. Then afterwards, when the game's over, he goes back in, changes his clothes, and starts lifting weights.
I've not really ever seen him in anything but a good mood. Kemp takes a strike.
You talk about a veteran player who sets a great example for young players. I mean, he's the guy.
He does.
That first pitch strike from Bumgarner. Now it's 12 for 12 in that department.
Look out, Mr. Kemp. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez to follow. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And that's not a slider. That's just a hard cutter. It's a fastball at 88. Just exploding across the plate. When Kemp's seeing that ball, it's like right over the middle of the plate at the knees. And by the time he commits to it, it's off the plate at his back foot. That's how much slide he gets in that fastball. Underneath that one.
Two offering coming up to Matt Kemp. And he hooks this one down the left field line. Foul.
It looked to me like he's all that happy with the mound. He's having a problem where his plant foot is hitting that hole. Ideally, you want to be able to feel solid once you plant that step. If you've got any tilt when you land, your foot's hitting it sideways off of a little ledge there. It can throw you off. So,
got him. No problem with the mound on that pitch. Third strikeout for Bumgarner.
Set up in the outside corner. That glove is right on the outside corner, and he doesn't even have to move it to catch that strike 3 fastball. Right now, he is putting on a clinic with his command. No problem with the stride step there. Good plant.
Here's Gonzalez, who hit a ball to the wall that Pence tracked down in the second. If I'm a hitter, I want Bumgarner to be happy with the mound. I don't want him slipping, because that's just about the time you're going to get one right around your dome. I'll call the grounds crew out. Hey, can you clean up that mound for him?
I don't think I've ever seen a hitter do that for an opposing pitcher. You make me laugh, partner.
Oh, and 2 to Gonzalez. Andres Torres. Bumgarner with a 1-2-3 fourth inning. Bumgarner's going to lead things off. 1-0 Giants.
Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Provident Credit Union Super Reward Checking, a checking account that pays you.
1-0 Giants here in the 5th inning. Ryu Bumgarner. Chris Paul is here from the LA Clippers. Chris Paul and his son throughout the first pitch. First breaking ball that Bumgarner has seen tonight. He's fun to watch, that Chris Paul. I don't think I'd want to guard him. Bumgarner pops it out of play.
Oh, you'd wear him out, partner.
He did not bounce it as he threw it to Matt Kemp.
Well, his son stole the show.
And a base hit for Bumgarner. Nothing to it.
Well, the Giants have not had a problem getting that leadoff runner on. That's the 3rd time they've done that against Ryu tonight. They've had a hit in every inning.
Well, Mike, it's actually the 4th time. And the only time they scored a run is when they didn't get it on. You're right. 3 times.
Just use your hands. And his fellow pitchers and teammates like it.
Applaud.
Golf clap.
2 hits for Pagan. Skies this one into center field.
You know what he's going to say when he gets back to the dugout? I just missed that one.
So here's Scudero. Scudero, a bunt and a single in the 1st, and then a 6-3 put out in the 3rd. Sandoval to follow. Not a sellout tonight, but a good, lively crowd here at Dodger Stadium. The crowd yesterday was as loud as I've ever heard of here. Ever. Cruz. Ellis. Gonzalez. Side retired. Cruz is going to lead things off. It remains 1-0 Giants.
On Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by the Solar Company. Not just any solar company, the solar company.
Giants on top 1-0 here at Dodger Stadium. Cruz, Ethier, and Ellis. That would be A.J. Ellis to face Bumgarner here in the fifth. He's allowed one hit. There's Meathead. And that was a double in the second inning. Archie Bunker, tab that guy, Meathead.
Yeah, that's a good handle to walk through life with. I like that guy.
Sandoval spears it. Sandoval throws it. One pitch, one out. Nice play.
Wow, that ball was drilled. Well, really, I mean, if you think about it, both pitchers have had the ball working. Cruz just spins on it. Really not even a chance for Sandoval to take a shuffle step to his right. The only thing he had time to do was just fall to his right. Nice soft backhand. And the Panda people were digging it.
Yes, they were. Here's Ethier. Ethier doubled down the right field line in the second. Good breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
Who's not sitting on breaking ball? Last at bat, Bumgarner threw him a first pitch fastball at the belt, and he aired it out. He fouled it off, but he was on it.
Ethier in on his hands, and he fouls it straight back. 0-2.
Well, we always talk about first pitch strikes and how important they are. This is the 15th hitter that Madison Bumgarner has faced tonight, and he's perfect in that category. 15 first pitch, 15 first pitch strikes. So much different pitching 0-1 opposed to 1-0.
Ethier stays alive. Limited action around the major leagues today. Two teams in the West are playing. Colorado playing in Milwaukee, and they lead in the ninth, 8-4. Arizona hosting the Cardinals. Matt Holliday a home run in that one. Cardinals lead 3-1. Ethier out swinging, 2 down.
Strikeout number 4 for Bumgarner. Well, opening week at AT&T Park will feature 2 great Heritage Night. Irish Heritage Night on April 8th will include a pregame party in Seals Plaza and an Irish Piper Lucille bobblehead. Then Chinese Heritage Night on April 9th includes a collectible Year of the Snake bobblehead. Both events require a special ticket purchase to receive the giveaway item. So to get them, you go to sfgiants.com/special events or call 415-972-2298.
There's good Giants fans having a ball here at the ballpark. First pitch strike. 0-1 to A.J. Ellis. Ellis struck out swinging in the second. And Bumgarner moves him back off the plate. Ellis steps out. On deck is Justin Sellers. 2 outs here in the 5th.
You'll see a lot of guys step out against Bumgarner. He likes to work fast, especially when he's got a good roll going like he's had tonight.
Pagan will put it away, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bumgarner. Sandoval, Posey, Pence, the beat coming up. 1-0 Giants. Well, the Giants release today a few remaining, not many, tickets for opening day. You can still be there to see who's going to raise the championship flag. Actually, Larry Bear's in our booth right now. We're going to find out. Ceremonies begin at 12:30. Giants Cardinals at 1:35. Check out sfgiants.com, not just for Friday's game, but for all the games on the homestand with the Rockies coming in on that Monday. So sfgiants.com. Here's Pablo Sandoval, 1-0 Giants. Sandoval gets this one off his fist to Ellis, and a 1-pitch out here in the 6th.
Well, that is the 60th pitch for Ryu here with 1 out in the 6th inning. At the end of 5 innings, Madison Bumgarner, 60 pitches. So both pitchers have been pretty economical with their pitch count tonight.
So here's Buster Posey. Posey with a single in the fourth. So Larry just informed us who's going to raise the flag. It's going to be Lucille.
Oh, is that the deal?
I did not say that.
He's denying it.
All right, we have a denial.
That's I'm taking your ring away.
That's a denial.
No ring for you.
That's always who is going to raise the flag. In 2011, it was really fantastic when Ryan Wilson ran out center field and went up the steps. And then the worry was, is he going to hang this thing upside down?
He was worried about it.
Here's the 3-0 to Posey. 3-1 on the call strike. But work to do here in Los Angeles before anybody worries about the Cardinals coming in on Friday. As Posey rolls it foul, it's 3-2. Posey had the base hit in the fourth with one out. He eventually scored on the Arias single, and that's where we stand, 1-0. And the payoff. Wrapped slowly to third, and it's going to be foul.
Ooh, not by much. I
Foul
almost
at the last second.
clipped the corner of the third base sack. All right, how close was it? Oh, about 6 inches away from the bag. Game of inches.
Remember when we used to say we need that camera at AT&T Park?
Yeah.
We got him.
I love that shot.
Yep.
It tells you the whole story.
It really does. Out of play. Hunter Pence is on deck. And they get Posey on the changeup.
4 strikeout for Ryu. And if you were to rate all of his pitches, I would think that the changeup has been the best pitch that he's shown the Giants tonight. It is the most deceptive, and it is the one that the Giants have had the most swing throughs on.
Well, if you can throw it 3-2 effectively, that's a great spot.
You have to be able to throw it in a fastball spot if you're going to benefit from a changeup. That's when it's most effective.
Pence has singled twice. Now it's 0-2. Oh, we're watching one of the games that just ended in Rockies beat Milwaukee tonight, and it's the first win for Walt Weiss as a manager. So congratulations to a really good guy, Walt Weiss.
Definitely a baseball that he'll put on his mantle.
Very high to Pence, 1-2. High again, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Really wraps that bat. Not a whole lot that he does is orthodox.
5 strikeouts now for Ryu. It remains 1-0 Giants.
Nothing as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Madison Bumgarner has been in charge tonight. We go back to a great memory. Game 2 of the 2012 World Series. Madison Bumgarner at home in San Francisco against the Tigers. And what did he do? Well, he was spectacular. He would go on to be the winning pitcher and throw a string of zeros up there that enabled the Giants to take a 2-0 lead in the series. And it was remarkable because he had gone through 5 weeks of inconsistent mechanics, and he really got it ironed out in the World Series. A remarkable story.
He's lifetime now 2-0 in the World Series. His line in that World Series game 2.
7 innings pitched, 4 base runners allowed, 8 strikeouts, no runs on 86 pitches.
Here's Sellers. Bumgarner to Arias, 1 out.
You know, in his young career, he's had 2 World Series starts. One against the Rangers in 2010.
A monster offense.
And I think they had not lost to a left-hander all year. Something ridiculous like that. And he goes 8 zeros in that game. And then he responds in his next outing last year against the Tigers, goes 7 zeros.
So Ryu takes a ball on the first pitch. And that's the first one of the night. One ball and 1 strike. Ryu bounced out to Arias in the 3rd. Sandoval charging. Sandoval takes his time. Ryu chugging down the line. Ryu went from cheers to boos. He may be nursing some foot injury, or at least that's the story I would go with.
Well, I think he needs to give at least a little bit better effort.
But
he's 25 years old.
Move your arms faster. It makes you look like you're running harder.
See, that's good advice. He does have a bit of a limp going, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he's got 2 blowing hamstrings and a knee problem.
Yep. So here's Jerry Hairston Jr. Well, Sandoval picked up on it right away, and he realized he had all the time in the world.
Does that mess with you sometimes?
That does, absolutely. Because you're geared to get after it. First pitch strike to Hairston. He's bounced out twice. Once to second, once to short. Foul right into the camera well. Back into the dugout of the Dodgers. It's 1-2. Hairston waiting patiently, and now he steps out. 1 hit for the Dodgers tonight. Andre Ethier, a 2-out double in the 2nd. Hairston will need new lumber.
That's the beautiful thing about a cut. You get so much movement boring in at the belt on the hands. From Bumgarner to the lefty, throw to the right-handed hitter. Even if they hit it, they're not going to sweet spot it for the most part. And I think a pitcher enjoys breaking a big league hitter's bat.
Watching home plate umpire Paul Emmel wanting to tell Hairston to speed it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, the way Ryu busted down the first base line, he's going to need a little time to get some rest and some wind. But this is overdoing it a bit. Umpires do not appreciate that. Even when he misses tonight, he's been close to the strike zone. They've been pretty tough pitches to take for the Dodger hitters.
So Hairston works it to 3-2.
This is the first 3-ball count of the night for Madison Bumgarner.
Pence on the move, and that'll end the inning. We will head to the 7th. Arias to lead things off here at Dodger Stadium. 1-0 Giants.
Upper deck? No way!
Here's our Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. 1-0 Giants. Bumgarner has been fantastic. Ryu, well, he's hanging in there. He's allowed 9 hits. He's gotten 3 double play balls. Arias has a couple of hits. And the Giants, 9 hits, 9 singles. Looking for that first extra base hit of the season. Arias knocked in the only run for the Giants with a base hit in the 4th inning.
What we found out about Arias last year is that he is streaky. And when he gets it going, I mean, he'll go 7-10 games where you cannot get him out.
Charging is Sellers. And safe at first is Arias on the high throw.
One thing about Sellers, I mean, he's here for his glove, and one of his biggest assets is he's got a great arm. Here, throwing off the right foot, takes Gonzalez off the bag, and the Giants get another leadoff hitter on, and this one courtesy of an error by Sellers. Go hard, put pressure on the defense, and there's your reward.
Here's Andres Torres, double play ball and a strikeout. And this is lined foul down the left field line. It's no balls and one strike. The speedy Andres Torres with Crawford on deck.
I think if you see a hitter pull a ball that sharply and that acutely into the stands, he does not have control of his bat head.
A pitch that Torres just swung at, I believe, was way off the plate.
It's really been the best 1-2 punch that Ryu has had tonight, the fastball changeup combination. Breaking balls really haven't been impressive. But given that this is his debut, a lot of pressure from his country. South Korea paying very close attention to this start. And you know he's feeling it. He's handled himself well.
Well, that's the pitch that Ryu wants the hitter to chase. And this time Torres did not. And it's 2-2. Into right field, a base hit. So nice at bat. And before that ball hit the ground, the Dodger bullpen was starting to move around.
Well, log on to csnbayarea.com and click on Giants In-Game Live, presented by Metro PCS. Enhance the in-game experience on your computer, smartphone, or tablet. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with in-depth stats up to the second box scores, and join the social buzz with other fans. Giants In-Game Live, presented by Metro PCS, only at csnbayarea.com. You're right, and Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach for the Dodgers, is going to come out and stall a little time, give that Dodger bullpen a chance to get loose.
That's not a trainer going out with Mattingly. That's an interpreter.
And you do have to have special permission from baseball to do this. There are times I used to think that Herm Starrett needed an interpreter when Greg Minton was on the mound.
Jim Davenport. Who was going to interpret for him?
Well, he spoke Southern.
Think Dabby's watching?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dab and Betty watching on the couch at San Mateo.
I think the Moon Man's watching, too.
There's
Ronald Belisario. Sorry, Smoot.
Belisario getting loose. Arias at second, Torres at first. And Crawford bunts it foul.
Well, it's not often that you see an eighth-place hitter sacrifice in front of a pitcher.
Well, if Crawford gets this down, Bumgarner is not going to face Ryu. Low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm still not convinced they're going to bunt again. Bumgarner's not throwing a lot of pitches. He's been in complete command of this game. He'd be tough to pull. As hard as runs have been for the Giants to find here in Los Angeles, Bumgarner's just throwing too good.
That's a fair ball, and it will advance everybody. And now Bumgarner is going to hit. That was a given. And now Mattingly has to make a choice. Does he want Bumgarner to face Ryu or Belisario. And I would be shocked if they let Ryu face Bumgarner.
Well, he was talking about it down in the Dodger dugout. And he took one step, then he backed off.
And he's still thinking about it. He wants Ellis to talk to Ryu. So what's Bumgarner going to do? He's going to round nose the umpire.
That's what you do.
You're doing a good job tonight.
Well, I didn't know you were that good. I heard stories about you, but boy, tonight it confirms it. Mr. Umpire.
Well, he has been good. Here's Mattingly. So we are not shocked. Bumgarner's going to go back and have a word with Hensley Mullins on what to look for. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Belisario's coming in. It's 1-0 Giants. Watching Ronald Belisario get loose.
The pitcher now for the Dodgers will be Ronald Belisario, and this guy does not lack for stuff. 6'3", 240-pounder. He did last year, 8-1 with a 2.54 ERA. He's got the ability to get a ground ball and get a strikeout. His fastball will go anywhere from 90 to 96 miles an hour. Good, hard, slurvy type slider, and a split, and all three pitches not easy to square up. However, he is not a guy that's been really showing a lot of great command through spring training. Had a lot of walks in camp, but he does not lack for stuff or movement.
Infield is in, and Bumgarner rolls it foul. Arias at third, Torres is at second. Infield in, and I mean all the way in.
Well, I mean, it's always a threat of a squeeze when you have a guy who's got the type of stuff that Belisario has. He's not easy to hit. Perhaps a bit easier to bunt. Tim Flannery coming down, verbal sign to Madison Bumgarner. And with that, the Dodgers huddle up on the mound. We're going to talk about how they're going to defend should there be a suicide squeeze. To be honest with you, I'd be surprised if Bochy put it on.
I would too.
Just because I think he does want to see Angel Pagan swing the bat if Bumgarner cannot get the job done.
Tune it up a little bit. That's at 95.
95 with movement. That's heavy. You're at third base. Anticipate a ball in the dirt. There's 96 with some fuzz on it. And there's that paralysis fastball. The Dodgers have long crease, just about 6-8 inches off the plate away. A lot of hitters will protect, they'll expand. A lot of umpires will go out with you. But that's his reach back velocity, 96.
2-2. There's Pagan watching. Two and two to Bumgarner. And he stays alive as he gets a piece. Arias reached on Sellers' throwing error to open up this inning. Then Torres blooped one to right. A ground out by Crawford moved both runners up, and here it's 2-2 to Bumgarner. Tapped. Sellers is coming home, and he throws it away. Arias scores. Torres scores. 3-0 Giants. It's been a disaster this inning for Justin Sellers.
When you're a defensive guy and you have two miscues in an inning that blows open a game, you're looking for a place to hide. And they'd have had a shot to get Arias despite the jump of Arias. But A.J. Ellis, the Dodger catcher, had no chance. And Belisario never regrouped and covered home. They'd have had a chance if he was there to get Torres. But Tim Flannery heads up, seeing that there was no pitcher there, waved Torres through. The Giants have a 3-0 lead.
Bumgarner does pick up an RBI on the play. So here's Pagan with Bumgarner at first base. Belisario to Pagan with one out, and Pagan takes down low. It's the first at bat for Pagan left-handed this season.
And that's the first off-speed pitch that Belisario has thrown. All fastballs to Bumgarner. And that's a bit of a surprise.
So Bumgarner did what you have to do, put it in play, right?
You never know what's going to happen. Even with a good set of hands like Sellers, he could make a mistake with a throw, and he did.
Pagan, a good rip, and he hits it foul out of play. Pagan hurt himself. He squatted down for a little while, said something to the home plate umpire. There's Ryu watching.
His night is done. All three of those runs are his. All right, let's take a look at the swing.
He dinged something that he wanted a little bit more time.
Yeah, it may have been a wrist. Could have been an elbow. Whatever, it did not feel good. Little stinger.
Ellis caught that in the web that nearly went to the backstop.
Yeah, we talked about the control problems that Belisario had during spring. I can't believe that he would be very much fun to catch. With that type of velocity, that type of sink, that type of heaviness to hit the ball. Catcher, you at least like to know where it's going, but you can't really count on that for Belisario.
Pagan stays alive right past the Panda.
One thing that I've been impressed with the last couple of years is A.J. Ellis behind the plate. He's a good catcher. Good blocker, throws well. Nice target. All the things you want.
So Pagan works it to a full count. A little bit of an edge now for a hitter.
Well, I do think as a hitter you anticipate a strike, and I think you anticipate a pitch that may be in a fatter part of the strike zone. You're not thinking corner pitch. But against a guy like Belisario, I mean, I just don't think you can count on that.
And that's just foul. Giants 3, Dodgers nothing. Top of the 7th inning. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Cruz, Ellis, no chance. Say this about Cruz, he's quick getting rid of it. And Scudero's going to hit, and now we'll see if Pagan tries to steal a base. Pagan was thrown out yesterday. He is continuing to shake his wrist. Scudero 1 for 3. It's up to Belisario, not just to keep Pagan close, but to give Ellis a chance to throw out Pagan. At the knees, and it's 0-1.
Scudero very much aware of the scouting report on Belisario and the control problems. Very content to take a strike. You never know. Pitcher can dig himself a hole by just giving you a 4-pitch walk. Doesn't hurt to take a pitch. You don't have anybody in scoring position, although the ball in the gap here with the speed of Pagan, 2 outs, probably score. Best arm in the outfield for the Dodgers is in center field with Kemp. It's a good one.
One to Scudero. That runs inside. Scudero 1 for 2 lifetime with a couple of walks against Belisario. Look out. This guy would forget it. I'd hate to hit against him.
He's not a comfortable at bat.
I mean, for a right-handed hitter.
And this is a slider, and that's a backup slider. And that thing had 0 movement on it with slider spin. And those are balls that hitters oftentimes will walk right into, anticipating the break, and they never do. But you're right, this guy's spooky.
Pagan goes, and Scudero rolls it foul.
Reaction from Scudero after the third pitch of the sequence with the hanging slider that went up and in.
Scudero's doing the best he can to hang in there. Sandoval on deck. Giants with 2 runs scored here in the 7th. A little help from the Dodger defense. Pagan leading. He does not go. And Scudero fouled on the right field line.
Very relaxed, never in a hurry, always in control of the rhythm of the at-bat. You look at Scudero and you can tell that he's been a professional hitter for a long time.
Pagan goes on the ground to Cruz at third. And that'll end the inning. Giants put 2 on the board. Bottom of the 7th coming up, 3-0 Giants. All right, thanks, Dave. Here at Dodger Stadium, Madison Bumgarner now with a 3-run lead. It's 3-0. Ellis, Kemp, and Gonzalez here in the 7th. Bumgarner on the bases a lot in the top of this inning, and he did get a chance to get back into the dugout after Pagan bounced into the force play. And he pours in another strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, he has been on top of them with the count all night long. 19 of 20 first pitch strikes. He and Buster Posey have really hooked up tonight.
Wastes the breaking ball. It's 1-2. Hit fairly well into left field, but Andres Torres with a beat on it. Mike, some of Madison Bumgarner tonight.
Well, he's been so consistent to the strike zone to get a quick one strike advantage. And he's moved both the slider and the fastball inside, outside. He's moved it up. He's gone out of the strike zone down. Really hasn't thrown many curveballs, and he has not thrown a changeup. But what he has done is locate, and locate. He has been in a great groove. And when you talk about a groove of a pitcher, you talk about his ability to repeat the arm stroke, and he has been uncanny with that ability tonight. Except for that pitch right there.
Kemp has bounced out, and then Bumgarner struck him out looking in the fourth. Sandoval down to a knee again to Arias, who digs it out. 2 down. Nice play on both ends.
Yeah, that you talk about a ground ball that had some hair on it. A top spinner. He's playing deep to the backhand, who comes up high. And watch the pick from Arias, who has been beautiful with the leather at first base tonight. He's played it like he's been there his whole life. Nice little backhand dig and a very impressive stretch. One more look at the defensive brilliance of the Panda. And Kemp sent packing.
Here's Gonzalez. Gonzalez has flied out twice. 1 ball and no strikes. Two and 0 to Gonzalez.
Pitch number 78. You're hitting against a guy like Bumgarner, who has been in command. You just feel like you get in the batter's box and you got an 0-2 count. Second 3-ball count of the night. This is the first count he's had at 3-0.
And he comes back with a strike to make it 3-1. Gonzalez taking all the way. I doubt he'll do that on this 3-1 pitch. Should he like it? Two.
Just a nice tight little slider on the 3-1. The beauty of that pitch is that he sold it with the arm action. Gonzalez going up there thinking that ball is going to be a fastball, and he's way out in front. 16 pitches in the second inning. After that, a lot of 11s.
Pagan moving over into the gap, and this will end the inning. Giants have the big fellas coming up. The Beef, Sandoval, Posey, Pence. Behind Madison Bumgarner, it's 3-0 Giants.
AT&T Park, April 8th to the 10th. And Monday, April 8th is Magnet Schedule Night presented by Remax to the first 20,000 fans. Then Tuesday, April 9th is the Giants World Champions Snow Globe Night presented by Comcast Sportsnet to the first 20,000 fans. Wednesday, a midweek day baseball game at 12:45, so come on out and enjoy the Giants taking on the Rocks. If you need tickets, go to sfgiants.com and get those tickets.
All right, it's 3-0 Giants.
3-0 Giants. We're in the top of the 8th.
Kenley Jansen's a new pitcher when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and Smog Experts.
And you see the numbers for Jansen, who last year was the closer of the Dodgers. 99 strikeouts in 65 innings. And look at the hits allowed. 33 hits in 65 innings. That's unbelievable. When you combine your hits and walks, and they're that far underneath your innings pitch, that's your whip, your walks and hits per innings pitch. That's phenomenal. And he does it with a fastball. It can go low to mid-90s and a hard cut that'll go low 90s with a cut. He also has a slider and a changeup. He throws seldom, but for the most part, you're going to see cuts. And he's not easy. Former catcher turned pitcher.
Here's Sandoval, who's 0 for 3 tonight. This will be his first at bat left-handed.
Jansen last year had a season upset by a heart condition that they had to put on the disabled list for a long time and control it with medicine. But he has been given the green light now to resume his career. Very scary.
Giants very curious to see how Sandoval would handle the at-bats left-handed with the right elbow problems. All left-handers except for this at-bat now against Kenley Jansen. Two balls and one strike. We're in the 8th. Sandoval chases. It's 2-2. That hits for the Giants. They've stranded 5. 3 double play balls have really helped the Dodgers tonight keep this game within reach. Sandoval attacks that high fastball and fouls it down the left field line.
Kenley Jansen really is a great story. 2 WBC tournaments ago, he was the catcher for Team Netherlands. They converted him to a pitcher, and he has hit the big leagues with a splash.
Sandoval again with the foul.
You see that high fastball at the belt, and that's exactly where he wants to put it. Plant that cutter, let that movement, which has got flat movement, bore in on the hands of the left-handed hitter. Very, very difficult to get the bat head on that pitch when he crowds that inside corner. It's really a pitch that's more effective high in the zone than it is down around the knees. At least on the inside corner.
Three and 2. And the walk.
Nice at bat. Well, Pablo Sandoval's been doing it with a glove all night long. Here he robs Luis Cruz, and then later on in the game he does it against Matt Kemp. Those are balls that they get by him. Those are 2 baggers at least.
How about this? That's the first walk issued in this game.
Well, that was an outstanding at bat, because he was down quickly in the count to Jansen. And Jansen usually does not walk many.
Posey takes a late call strike, and it's 0-1. Buster tonight is 1 for 3.
I'm not too happy about that call. Posey lifetime against Jansen, 1 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. 2 Posey fans very concerned.
Double play ball. Sellers to Ellis. 2 down. That's the 4th double play the Giants have hit into tonight, and that'll bring up Hunter Pence. That's the 2nd double play ball that Buster Posey has had tonight. He did, however, score the first run after a 1-out single in the 4th. Pence has 2 hits tonight. Breaking ball for a strike. Back-to-back strikes, nothing in 2. Pence stays alive and sends this one into the 4th deck. I always forget the one that's right above us.
Yeah,
see,
there's 5 levels. When you pitch at this ballpark, you really felt like you were deep in a cavern looking up at the 5 tiers here at Dodger Stadium. There you see the backdrop, 5th deck up top.
Got him. Rough at bat for Pence. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's the Giants 3 and the Dodgers nothing.
Well, join us tomorrow for Game 3 of this 3-game series, Dodgers-Giants. It's going to be Tim Lincecum on the hill taking on right-hander Josh Beckett. And you'll see it here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pre-game live starting at 6:30. You can see it at Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Complete Giants coverage every night here at Sportsnet Central. And we are the home of your world champion Giants.
Beckett, Lincecum, Bumgarner, Cruz. Bottom of the 8th. and a first pitch strike. And we've said that a lot, and it's 0-1.
You see Lincecum's numbers lifetime against the Dodgers, 7-5. But look at that ERA in 18 games, 2.81. Just a nice two-pitch sequence. He opens them up on the inside corner. Here he comes out and paints the outside corner. And for an aggressive hitter like Cruz, who loves to swing the bat, 2 times he's got to just sit there and watch it. He can't get off a swing. 10th 0-2 count of the night for Bumgarner.
Cruz lifts this one out of play.
And that right there and on the hands at the belt is perfectly placed on a 1-2 count. And tied Cruz up in knots.
And that time Cruz really reached out, which would lead you to believe maybe that inside part of the plate is available.
I mean, he really hasn't thrown anything over the middle of the plate this whole sequence. It's been inside corner, outside corner, inside corner. And one thing about Cruz, he's hard to walk. He will chase both sides of the strike zone, above it and below it.
Arias. 1 out.
Well, stay tuned immediately after Giants baseball for Esurance Giants postgame live. Highlights, reaction, and analysis, and it's all coming up right after the game. And there will be lots to talk about tonight. And I can imagine a lot of this conversation is going to be about this guy right here.
Ethier doubled in the second, the only base runner in this game for the Dodgers.
I think he's had the best swings against Bumgarner all night.
And then Bumgarner struck him out in the 5th.
Second game of the season, his hat's already stained by pine tar. It's amazing. But what guys do with their helmet, as you see Casilla and Athel starting to get up for the Giants. You can't stop in the middle of an at-bat, go back to your pine tar rag. You can't do it. You can't leave the box. So they put the pine tar on their helmet so they can get a little feel of the pine tar and get some more stickum on their bat during the at-bat.
Hitters.
Cheaters. I mean, they could put the whole pine tar rag on the top of their head. It's legal. There you go. You just load it up. Pitchers, you put a little bit on the corner of your glove, you get kicked out of the game for a month. It ain't right.
Bumgarner strikes out Ethier for the second time. 2 down in the 8th.
Right above the hands. You couldn't run up there and place that better on the 0-2 pitch. Very deceptive, very calm upper body, big turn. And at times that has been a bit problematic because he'll turn too much, but he is locked in. Abergetti has had him tuned in very early in spring, and he's carried it right into the season. And there's his line tonight, 1 base runner. A 2-out double by Ethier in the second. Another strike one. 11-0-2 counts. Next pitch, number 95.
Now it's a quick 0-2 to A.J. Ellis.
12-0-2 counts. I mean, that is just dominance. It's fun to pitch when you got 0-2 counts in your back pocket like he's had all night.
That's trouble down the right field line, and he shoots by Pence. And Ellis has the second hit in this game for the Dodgers. Justin Sellers is being called back, and it's going to be Pinto is going to pitch.
Pretty impressive swing of the bat from Ellis. I think he basically conceded that he could not try and pull Bumgarner in that 0-2 count. He took a corner pitch in the outside part of the plate, went the other way. That's a good at bat.
So here's Pinto. His combined numbers last year with the Red Sox and the Dodgers. Down low. Pinto is the switch hitter.
Juan Uribe on deck.
Bumgarner with a called strike on pitch number 98.
He's going to take a strike.
Outfield pretty much straight away for Pinto. And now it's 1-2.
The bullpen is ready. Next pitch for Bumgarner will be pitch number 100. Oh, tried to backdoor slider, and I mean, he missed by about the length of the ball, maybe half a ball. And if you're Nick Pinto, you got to have some guts to take this pitch.
Got him. And that'll end the inning on a late call by Paul Emmel. Ninth inning coming up. Some of what you've seen here tonight at Dodger Stadium. Giants lead 3-0. A new pitcher for the Dodgers when it's time for a change. Think Speedy, oil change and tune-up. Your oil change tune-up and smog expert.
Paco Rodriguez, the lefty now in for the Dodgers. You see he's got good stuff. Just 3 hits allowed last year. 6 2/3, 6 strikeouts. Making his 2013 debut. Let's take a look at the defense from Joaquin Arias tonight. Picks up Brandon Crawford early on. A really nice high backhander. Then he pulls one out of the dirt. Another backhander down low. Here he goes wide for a pop-up. Big first out for Bumgarner in the 8th inning. He's played it like he's been there his whole life.
And he will lead things off here in the 9th. He's been on base 3 times. He's knocked in a run and he scored a run. And he'll take the first pitch down low. Torres. And then Crawford.
You see a lot of fastball sliders from Paco Rodriguez. He can also sink the fastball. He's a lefty, he can get you a ground ball.
Hit on the ground to Cruz at short. 1 out. Cruz moves from 3rd to short. Punto stays in the game. He is now at 3rd. And the hitter will be Andres Torres. Romo getting loose in the Giants bullpen under the watchful eye of Mark Gardner. Torres has a hit. He flared one to right in the 7th and eventually scored on the throwing error by Justin Sellers, the shortstop.
Rodriguez has an unusual take back. I mean, he slingshots the arm in position. He really sets it high. Not much of a circle. And you never see him drop his hand below the belt. A lot of different ways to get in a throwing position. And as unorthodox as it is, I mean, he really is in a nice high position. Teasing the Giant as he starts his, lets his hand go high and tease the Giant. Right there. And that really is the hand position you want to be in. But you just see most guys will relax their shoulder in their take back and they'll swing that arm down below their belt. It's a little easier on your shoulder. The problem is with slingshot take backs like Paco Rodriguez has is that your arm never really relaxes in the motion. And it can cause problems down the road. But in the eye of the hitter, it provides a little funkiness, and funkiness is good.
Two pitch to Andres Torres. And that's foul. Tune into the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KNBR tomorrow morning. Mike will talk about the game with the fellas on KNBR 680, the sports leader. Our fellas in the morning. 2-2 to Andres Torres. 3-2.
Nice take right there, not an easy one. And the longer you go without hits, the more you are to go out of the strike zone and chase. That's why his last at bat, when he finally got a hit, it kind of calms things down a little bit in the eye of a hitter. Doesn't press.
Cruz again. 2 down. Here's Brandon Crawford. This will be his 4th at bat tonight. He had 3 yesterday, and all 7 of his bats this year so far will be against the left-hander. And he doesn't have a hit.
Yesterday, the way that Kershaw was throwing it, you really can't fault the guy for taking it over against that stuff. But all spring long, we saw him have great approach against lefties.
And he was on almost every day. Emil says that's a strike. Bumgarner's night is over.
And that's what he did. Retired the 19 of the last 20 guys he faced. 2 guys got on base all night, 2 doubles. Ethier and A.J. Ellis.
Well, now it's 1-2. I had the count wrong. Do not trust the scoreboard.
No, they're having problems with the new scoreboard.
AT&T Park, yes. Wrigley Field, yes. Two and two.
In Bumgarner's night, if you want more statistics, just to give you a little more idea of how masterful he was, he had 2 3-ball counts, 1 3-0 count, and fell behind 2-0 just one time.
He had an RBI.
.101 pitches, 76 strikes. He's got to feel pretty good about that one. I know Dave Righetti is feeling pretty good about that one.
He also had an RBI.
He also had an RBI.
Crawford out swinging to end the inning. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Giants on top, 3-0. And we have a new pitcher for Bruce Bochy. It's Sergio Romo.
So Sergio Romo is going to make his 2013 debut. Last year, 4.2 with a 1.79 ERA, 14 saves and 15 ops. Uncanny commands, 10 walks against 63 strikeouts. There's 47 base runners and 55 in the third. And of course, a postseason hero. And this is a save opportunity for Romo.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. Skip Schumacher is going to pinch hit. And then Carl Crawford is on deck. So the debut of the 2013 season for Sergio Romo. At the knees, and it's no balls and one strike.
Romo gave you two types of fastball, a four-seam and a two-seam. Last pitch you just saw, a two-seam fastball. Slider, which is his bread and butter. He'll also throw a changeup, which he'll use a lot to lefties.
Sandoval will watch this one drift into the seats. It's now 0-2.
Romo going to the back of the mound where they have a little scratch pad, rubber mat where you can scratch the mud out of your shoes, the clay.
Again, Schumacher lifts it down the left field line and out of play. Schumacher, longtime Cardinal. Played a lot. Was a starter at second base for the Cardinals for a number of years. Now, here with the Dodgers, he'll be a utility player. He strikes this one well. Pagan, however, is going to track it down. 1 out. So here's Crawford. Crawford started and led off in the game yesterday and went 2 for 4. Sandoval in at third.
You have to respect the speed of Crawford. He can push bunt, he can drag bunt. Giants are taking that away.
Look out as it shoots through Buster Posey. It evens the count at a ball and a strike.
That's the first changeup he tried. With that release, he'll use a circle changeup when he wants to throw that on-speed pitch.
Got to use it though, right? You got to try it.
Well, it's a good time to do it when you're ahead 0-1.
Sales on Posey. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hit a mile high on the infield. Arias doing the pop-up dance. 2 down.
That
was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. That was almost as high as the top of the stadium. That's how high that was.
Not quite as high as our broadcast booth in Washington, D.C.
No. Nothing's as high as that.
Ellis 1 for 6 lifetime against Sergio Romo. And a bit high to Ellis. Madison Bumgarner trying to get the Giants into the win column. He did everything he could. Going 8 very strong innings. Wide at 2 balls and no strikes.
These are the at-bats, though, when Ellis toughens up. Bigger the at-bat, the better one he gives you. Smart hitter.
3-1.
Power on deck. Power in the hole. Kemp, Gonzalez. And that's how you take advantage of a 3-0 lead in a 3-1 count. You say, here, hit it. Ellis take it all the way.
Got him, and that's the ball game. And the Giants are indeed in the win column. And tonight, behind Madison Bumgarner, they beat the Dodgers 3-0. What a performance by that kid right there.
That's a big league stop job, and that's one of the strengths of this Giants rotation is that they have the ability to pitch, throw a shutout, take a little pressure off the offense, and that's exactly what he did tonight. He was fantastic, partner.
You always talk about first pitch strikes. He was unbelievable tonight.
Well, he had, I think it was 12 or 13 0-2 counts. He just was on top of them all night long.
Final score, Giants 3, Dodgers 0. Esurance Giants postgame live is coming up. But first, let's go to Sportsnet Central Studio for this update.
Here now are the totals for tonight's game.